Marcus, a 31-year-old marketing analyst, sat at his desk reviewing quarterly reports when his phone vibrated against the wooden surface. The message from his girlfriend Victoria caught him off guard. They had been together for 18 months, sharing an apartment for the past 6. Her text read with an unsettling casualness, "So, I have something to confess. I made a fake profile pretending to be you and messaged your sister to see what she really thinks about me. Spoiler alert, she talks mad trash about me behind your back. Screenshots attached if you want proof of what your precious family really thinks." Marcus stared at the glowing screen, his mind struggling to process the confession. He read the message 3 times, each word sinking deeper into his consciousness. Victoria had impersonated him online, manipulating his sister Charlotte into revealing private thoughts. 7 screenshots followed, displaying conversations between a fabricated version of himself and Charlotte. The fake Marcus asked leading questions about Victoria, and Charlotte's responses, while honest and measured, were undeniably critical. Her words included observations like, "She's controlling, and I don't think she's good for you. She isolates you from everyone." His fingers moved across the keyboard with deliberate calm. He typed a single word in response, "creative." Then Marcus began systematically documenting everything. He captured screenshots of her confession, the fabricated conversations, and every piece of evidence she had provided. Opening his laptop, he navigated to his social media profile and discovered a duplicate account bearing his name. The profile used photos stolen from his legitimate account and had been created 3 weeks prior. Several family members had already accepted friend requests from this imposter. Marcus leaned back in his chair, his analytical mind working through the implications. This behavior transcended mere invasion of privacy or peculiar jealousy. Victoria had committed what amounted to identity theft, a legitimate criminal offense. 20 minutes passed before another message arrived from her. The text demanded to know if that was all he had to say, pointing out that his sister was poisoning everyone against her. Marcus responded with measured precision, noting that she had committed identity theft to manipulate his family members, and yes, creative was indeed the appropriate descriptor. Victoria's reply attempted justification, claiming she had acted in their mutual interest to expose the duplicity of his family. Marcus countered that her actions stemmed from paranoia and controlling behavior, validating Charlotte's earlier observations. He informed her that their relationship had reached its conclusion. When Victoria expressed disbelief that he would end things over this incident, Marcus confirmed his decision with finality. He immediately contacted Charlotte to verify whether she had received unusual messages from him recently. Charlotte confirmed that Marcus had indeed been messaging her about Victoria, though his approach had seemed uncharacteristic. When Marcus revealed that Victoria had created the fraudulent profile, silence filled the phone line before Charlotte's voice erupted in disbelief and anger. He promptly forwarded all the screenshots to his sister. The family group chat exploded with activity as his parents and his other sister, Isabel, who was 26, expressed their collective outrage. Charlotte's fury manifested in immediate action. Her husband James, a corporate attorney, recognized the serious legal implications. He contacted Marcus directly, explaining that Victoria's actions constituted not only identity theft but potentially fraud and defamation if she distributed the private conversations. This prompted Marcus to examine their shared laptop more thoroughly. What he discovered exceeded his initial concerns. Victoria had not limited her catfishing scheme to Charlotte alone. She had created fake conversations with Isabel, his cousin Rebecca, and 3 of his friends, all while posing as Marcus. Each conversation appeared designed to extract negative opinions about herself. More disturbing still, Marcus found a draft email in her account addressed to his employer. Written as though Marcus had composed it, the message complained about workplace stress and inquired about mental health leave. The draft bore yesterday's date but remained unsent. That evening, Victoria returned home carrying takeout from Marcus's favorite restaurant, her demeanor suggesting nothing had transpired. She greeted him with artificial cheerfulness, acknowledging that she had made a mistake but suggesting they discuss it reasonably. Marcus's response was direct and unequivocal. He instructed her to pack her belongings and leave. Victoria's expression transformed instantly when he explained that her name appeared nowhere on the lease, making her a month-to-month guest at best. Furthermore, she had admitted to multiple instances of identity theft. Her demeanor shifted from sweet to venomous within seconds. She questioned whether he would truly end their relationship over a single mistake. Marcus corrected her characterization, pointing out that catfishing his entire family while drafting fraudulent emails to his employer represented a pattern of dangerous behavior rather than an isolated incident. Victoria began crying, though the tears seemed born of anger rather than sadness. She insisted that his family had always harbored hostility toward her and had worked to undermine their relationship from the beginning. Marcus explained that his family had simply expressed reasonable concerns about red flags, which she had now spectacularly validated. Victoria seized her phone and began texting furiously, declaring that she would not leave that evening because tenant rights required 30 days' notice. Marcus had anticipated this argument. He retrieved his phone and displayed the guest agreement she had signed, which allowed him to revoke her stay with 72 hours' notice if she engaged in illegal activity or endangered the welfare of other residents. Identity theft qualified under these provisions. Victoria stared at him in disbelief, accusing him of having planned this confrontation. Marcus clarified that she had engineered the situation when she decided to catfish his family, while he simply possessed a better understanding of contractual obligations than she had of covering her digital tracks. Her phone rang, the display showing her mother's name. She answered on speaker, explaining to her mother that Marcus was evicting her over nothing. When pressed to define nothing, Victoria admitted to creating a fake profile to investigate his family's opinions. Her mother's voice rose several octaves in shock, questioning what could have possessed her daughter to commit such an illegal act. Even Victoria's own mother refused to support her position. Victoria disconnected the call and turned back to Marcus, declaring the situation ridiculous but agreeing to stay with her friend Nicole that night. She insisted their discussion was not finished. Marcus reiterated that their relationship had definitively ended, and she had 72 hours to remove her possessions. He would have the locks changed Monday morning. She hastily packed an overnight bag while muttering accusations of ingratitude, calling him controlling and labeling his family as psychotic. Before departing, Victoria paused at the door and delivered a threat. She predicted he would regret his decision, claiming his family had manipulated him into destroying the best relationship of his life. Marcus responded with calm certainty that she had manipulated herself out of the relationship through her own unhinged behavior. After she slammed the door, he immediately installed a security door bar he had purchased during his lunch break, unwilling to take any chances with her potential return. 10 minutes later, Marcus's phone began receiving a barrage of messages from Victoria's friends. She had apparently begun spinning an alternative narrative, portraying herself as a victim of abuse and control, claiming Marcus had chosen his toxic family over her. Recognizing the need for preemptive action, Marcus prepared to present the complete truth. The following morning, Saturday, Marcus woke to 23 text messages, 8 missed calls, and numerous social media notifications. Victoria had launched a comprehensive smear campaign overnight. She had posted across multiple platforms, including a video on one social media site according to his cousin, describing how Marcus had emotionally abused her and cast her into homelessness because she had discovered his family speaking negatively about her. Her accounts conspicuously omitted any mention of the fraudulent profiles, identity theft, or attempted email to his employer. Her friends embraced the narrative enthusiastically, leaving comments that ranged from general condemnations of men to suggestions that she pursue legal action for illegal eviction. However, Victoria had overlooked a critical detail. She had forgotten about their mutual friends who understood both perspectives. Tyler, one of Marcus's closest friends, commented publicly, asking if she had not mentioned the previous week that she was planning to check his sister's messages somehow. Victoria deleted Tyler's comment within minutes, but Marcus had already captured it in a screenshot. Marcus created a comprehensive Google Drive folder containing all relevant documentation. This included Victoria's original confession, screenshots of all fraudulent profiles, the catfishing conversations with his family members, the draft email to his employer, Tyler's deleted comment, and the lease agreement demonstrating her guest status rather than tenant rights. He shared this folder selectively with family members, close friends, and most importantly, James, Charlotte's attorney husband. James called within an hour of receiving access. He explained that the situation was more serious than initially assessed. The fake email to Marcus's employer could constitute attempted fraud and defamation. The identity theft qualified as a federal crime. Charlotte wanted to pursue legal action. When Marcus expressed surprise, James explained that Charlotte felt deeply violated by someone using her private thoughts against her and attempting to destroy her relationship with her brother. She wanted Victoria to face consequences. While Marcus conversed with James, Victoria arrived at the apartment accompanied by 3 friends and her brother Stephen. The doorbell camera captured their aggressive approach as they pounded on the door. Victoria demanded immediate access to retrieve her possessions. Marcus texted her, reiterating that she had until Monday morning as previously discussed and requesting that she leave or he would contact the police for trespassing. Stephen shouted through the door that Marcus could not hold her property hostage, calling it theft. Marcus contacted the police non-emergency line and explained the circumstances. 2 officers arrived within 15 minutes. He presented documentation through the cracked door, keeping the security bar in place. The female officer reviewed everything and nodded in understanding. She informed Victoria that Marcus had provided the required 72-hour notice according to the guest agreement, and Victoria needed to leave and return at the designated time. When Victoria protested that he was keeping her property, the officer explained that he was allowing her to retrieve it Monday, which was reasonable. She warned that continued presence would result in a citation for trespassing. Stephen attempted to escalate the confrontation, but the male officer suggested he escort his sister away from the property immediately. They departed, though not before Victoria screamed a threat that Marcus would pay for his actions. The officers provided their contact cards and advised Marcus to document any further interactions as potential harassment. Sunday remained relatively quiet until evening brought Victoria's most significant mistake. She created another fraudulent profile, this time impersonating Charlotte. She began messaging Marcus's friends with damaging fabrications about him, including claims about alcohol problems, unpaid debts, and concerns about his mental health. She made one critical error. She messaged Benjamin, who happened to be sitting beside Marcus watching a game when the messages arrived. Benjamin showed Marcus his phone, noting that Charlotte was sending unusual messages about him. Marcus examined the messages and noted that the account had been created that day with a profile picture stolen from Charlotte's social media. He immediately contacted Charlotte, who confirmed she had not messaged anyone. They now possessed evidence that Victoria continued creating fake profiles and committing identity theft, but now she was actively defaming both Marcus and his sister. James received notification immediately. His response indicated that Victoria had dramatically worsened her legal position. Monday morning arrived with Marcus taking the day off work. A locksmith changed all locks at 8 o'clock sharp, with the professional serving as a witness. At 10 o'clock, Victoria appeared with a full-sized moving truck and 6 people. Marcus had 3 friends present, including Tyler, who filmed everything for documentation purposes. Marcus stood in the doorway and informed Victoria that she could take her clothes, personal items, laptop, and anything she could prove she had purchased. Victoria screamed that she had purchased half of everything in the apartment. Marcus calmly requested receipts. She could not provide any because she had not made those purchases. Marcus had paid for nearly everything in the apartment. The few items she had bought, including some kitchen gadgets, a decorative pillow, and her gaming console, he had already boxed and placed by the door. Stephen attempted to push past Marcus to claim the television, arguing that Victoria used it and therefore owned half. Marcus firmly stated that he had purchased the television 6 months before Victoria moved in, and he possessed the receipt. Tyler continued filming. The process took 2 hours as Victoria attempted to claim ownership of everything from the coffee maker to the couch. Eventually, she departed with only items that were legitimately hers, filling approximately half the moving truck she had rented. As she prepared to leave, Victoria hissed that this was not finished and she would make his life unbearable. Marcus responded calmly, noting that she had been committing identity theft, defaming his family, and attempting to contact his employer fraudulently. If anyone's life was about to become difficult, it would be hers. Tuesday morning, James sent the cease and desist letter. The document spanned 3 pages of precise legal language demanding that Victoria stop impersonating family members, cease all defamation, and end all contact or face criminal and civil charges. The letter was delivered to her apartment, her workplace, and her parents' house where she now resided according to mutual acquaintances. Wednesday brought a call from an unknown number. Victoria's mother pleaded with Marcus not to allow prosecution, explaining that her daughter was young, foolish, and acting out of misguided love. Marcus pointed out that Victoria was 29 years old, certainly mature enough to understand that identity theft constituted a crime. Her mother explained that Victoria was receiving professional help and had begun therapy. Marcus acknowledged this as positive but noted it did not undo the harm caused. Victoria's mother asked what would resolve the situation. Marcus outlined his conditions: deletion of all fake profiles, cessation of all contact with him and his family, a public admission and apology for the lies she had spread, and a signed agreement never to contact any of them again. Her mother promised to ensure compliance. By Thursday, Victoria had posted a vague apology online, stating that she had allowed her emotions to control her actions during their recent breakup, had said untrue things, and apologized to anyone affected. While not precisely what Marcus had requested, James indicated it was sufficient admission to use against her if she attempted anything else. 3 months after the catfishing incident, Marcus finally had complete closure to share. Approximately 2 weeks after the cease and desist letter, Victoria apparently could not restrain herself. She created yet another fraudulent profile, this time impersonating a potential employer, and contacted Charlotte, who worked as a graphic designer, about a job opportunity. The apparent plan was to waste Charlotte's time, raise her hopes, and then disappear. However, Charlotte was suspicious from the beginning. The company had no legitimate web presence, the email originated from a free email service, and the writing style seemed familiar. Charlotte played along long enough to gather evidence, including obtaining a contract that contained metadata revealing it had been created on Victoria's computer. This proved to be the final transgression. James filed a police report for criminal harassment and identity theft. The police took the matter seriously given the substantial evidence they had compiled. Victoria was arrested at her parents' house. Her mother called Marcus crying, begging him to drop the charges. He reminded her that the decision was not his to make. Charlotte was the victim and had decided to proceed. The case moved forward through the legal system. Victoria was charged with identity theft, cyber-stalking, and harassment. She attempted to portray herself as a victim in court, claiming heartbreak had clouded her judgment, but the judge was unimpressed. The sheer volume of fake profiles, the calculated nature of her schemes, and her continuation after receiving a cease and desist letter demonstrated a pattern of malicious behavior rather than emotional distress. Victoria pleaded guilty to avoid incarceration. Her sentence included 2 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, mandatory therapy, a restraining order preventing contact with Marcus, his family, or the creation of any fake profiles, and $5,000 in restitution to Charlotte for legal fees and emotional distress. Additionally, Marcus's company conducted an IT audit after he reported the incident. They discovered that Victoria had attempted to access his work email from their shared laptop. While she had failed due to two-factor authentication, the attempts were logged. Marcus's company pressed charges for attempted unauthorized access to their systems, a federal offense. Victoria pleaded that charge down as well, but it added another year of probation and destroyed any possibility of employment in her field of marketing because she now carried a record for cybercrimes. According to information through mutual acquaintances, Victoria now worked in retail while living with her parents. Her friend group dissolved when court documents became public record. Her mother made social media deletion a condition of residence. Victoria apparently told people that Marcus had ruined her life over a prank. Meanwhile, Marcus's life had improved substantially. Charlotte and he grew closer than ever, bonding over shared experiences. Marcus received a promotion at work, partly because his supervisor was impressed with how he had handled the security threat. He began dating someone new named Sophia, who found the entire story remarkable but appreciated that Marcus had clear boundaries. His family adopted the phrase, "Don't pull a Victoria," as shorthand for doing something extraordinarily foolish. The ironic aspect was that if Victoria had simply accepted that Charlotte did not particularly like her and either worked to improve that relationship or accepted that it might never happen, none of this would have occurred. Instead, she committed multiple crimes attempting to prove what exactly? That his sister had opinions. That family members do not always adore their siblings' romantic partners. She fabricated evidence of people disliking her, then made it a self-fulfilling prophecy through her unhinged behavior. For anyone experiencing a similar situation, Marcus's advice was straightforward: document everything, avoid engaging with unstable behavior, protect yourself legally, and trust your family when they express concerns about someone giving them negative impressions. They might be perceiving something important. As for Victoria, if she happened to be reading this, which would violate her restraining order, she did not lose everything because his family discussed her. She lost everything because she committed crimes repeatedly, even after being warned to stop. That was not love or protection. That was criminal behavior. And yes, creative had definitely been the appropriate word. Creatively deranged.